Check, check. Welcome in, guys. Thank you for joining on a holiday. Appreciate the dedication to that. Probably gonna have a small class, so we'll see who rolls in, but allow you guys to have your mics unmuted. If we gotta ask questions, we can go a little more in depth on some stuff. But yeah, I'll give 1 or 2 more minutes, you guys, and see who rolls in, and then we'll get going. If you guys have any requests, put them in the chat like usual. If you're in it and you want to look for some targets or help me or have me help you look for some targets, let me know. Or if you're just looking at a setup, just let me know as well in the chat. Good to have you in here, Finnis. How was the weekend thus far? Hopefully you had a little 3-day weekend. But if you work government or something, you probably don't have a day off. Nice. I see that right up on Disney. I'll definitely get that. Let me write that down first. Norvin, as usual, he always DMs me early with requests, but he's not in here right now, so I'm gonna skip his unless he rolls in. Oh, there he is. Nice. And Disney. cool. All right, guys, one more server ping. We'll dive right in. Like I said, it's a holiday. People are with friends and family, so that's right, though. We'll get through how much we want. If there's no questions, we can wrap this class early, or if we got questions and charts, we'll just keep rolling. All right, guys, one last ping. Just sent it out. We'll dive right in. For those of you guys might be new, I'm one of the staff members here, Start with 1K. I'm glad to have you guys in here. Glad to have some regulars in here as well. As always. And Discord, not Discord, Zoom is messing up here. What we got? How do I get this out here? I guess that'll work. All right, sorry about that. So as of now, guys, I am on I'm on the 30-minute chart on SPY. As of now, we see this gap up here. Basically, we got this kill candle Friday. Trump was threatening 50% tariffs on the EU because they just weren't really coming to the bargaining table quickly and how he wanted to. And on Sunday, is yesterday, he backed off those comments and said he's going to delay the 50% tariffs. It was supposed to be June 1, but now it's like July. So basically pushed it back a whole month. And so the markets are reacting positively to that. So this move is warranted. Just for some reference, you guys, this is like the one level here that I don't just have like just a number. It's the old all-time high. So I like to go back to this every once in a while. We got a small enough class. So coming back, focusing on this red zone here. It's not all-time high, but it was this big 2024 like kind of consolidation zone back and forth, back and forth. And so as you see, I'm on the daily. This is October of last year through basically March right here when we sold down. So there's a big cluster of volume right in here. This kind of basically 585 to 586-ish zone. That's on the daily again. So when we go to the 30-minute chart, we're going to kind of open as of now, kind of pinned right in between it. Sorry, I need to drink water already. We're going to be open right there, right in the middle of it. And so my game plan tomorrow is kind of just piggybacking off, this zone that we know. And then also I'm going to watch, last week's price action, specifically Wednesday and Thursday. That's Wednesday here, Thursday here. So we can see when we kind of push up here, get some drawings going. When we kind of open the bottom range, they kind of want to buy it back over, and then it's kind of a battle up here at this upper range. And so when we sell through the lower range, a little bit of selling pressure comes in. We get back over, they press it. But again, Thursday, we ultimately had a 30-minute candle close over and that kill candle in the day. And so that's my focus tomorrow and this week is zoom left a little bit or to the right, excuse me. So that is my focus here. I'm still on the 30-minute chart on SPY. This is like I kind of say, I'll put it in my tab as well. This is like a scalper zone, or if you're looking for the big momentum breakout plays, this is the no zone for you, a no-go zone, meaning skip it. If we're kind of trading, in here like this, don't take these trades, wait for a breakout. You can literally just set an alert on your brokerage, anything basically for me, I'll probably actually just do it right now. Anything over 586, I'm interested on the follow through or potential follow through above. Yep. And one lower here on any breakdown. So this is literally what I do every day, you guys. I'm my pre-market charting, doing it for you in real time right here. So any breakouts over and a hold of this red zone, I'd consider that a support zone reclaim. But I'm not going to get super excited and say, hey, let's go to 590, because we see just 2 days ago, well, 2 trading days ago, that is, on Thursday, we pushed up here to, 586.50 and boom, big smackdown. So if we, kind of trickle in like this pre-market, we push up over and break out, kind of pre-market, we come into this zone and markets are open. Yeah, we can take calls off of here. But again, don't be looking up here, all this. First target absolutely is that Thursday high and see if we get over that. So we could very well see a rejection there. and then it's kind of like a little bit of a range or a chop zone. But if we break this and just, like I said, we kind of had markets are liking that Trump backpedaled, so to speak, on the tariff news. So we could be in for a very big bullish day. Just because we got this huge gap here doesn't mean we have to fill it tomorrow or this week or in a month. So if the momentum is bullish and everything looks good, ride that wave, ride that train. Wait for that breakout of this Thursday high here. You draw a line here, an alert, breakout over that. Then we can start looking 587, 587.4, our daily 9 moving average, which is going to be creeping up overhead. That's going to be a big one. And then we can look at these bigger targets up here. But again, any rejection, if we bounce this and reject on that Thursday high and sell back into here, I'm not really looking to play this unless, if I'm gonna jump in the pro VC with River, I'll scalp this range with him. You'll take his guidance. But for me, I just don't like that because it's filled with some large wicks back and forth on top and bottom. And it's just really not really how I like to trade. But again, we sell through this, even better 584. And we can see we get under 584, this nice selling pressure that happens. We can't get back over 584. This is obviously pre-market action, but we can see how selling pressure kicks in. And so does anybody have any questions on SPY before I move on to QQQ? That's kind of my game plan is let's see where we open here. And I'll keep it, I'll try and update my tab early as I can during the day. But as of now, bullish over this level, bearish under here. And then this is kind of no man's land into here. So big gap there. So if we start failing or markets, whatever they want to sell off on that news, anything under 584, I'm looking for a put stay on SPY. Okay. Any questions at all? I don't see anything rolling in. All right. QQQ, same thing, you guys. Kind of not a trickier chart, but not as defined as SPY is for me. I mean, one could argue I can definitely get kind of a mid-level range line in here, grabbing that wick there and sell down there. We see that follow through, and then the battle here, sell down pre-market there. So if we open at that level, 515 is a safe level to look for calls. Again, just because we gap up, don't just take puts because you think we gapped up too much or went up too much. If the news and the momentum is right, just keep playing that. And so if we kind of trickle in here on QQQ, get them on the 30-minute chart, basically that 515, 515.21 pocket, any holds on that, I'm looking for a push up to the daily 9. Why is that a big upper range target for me? Well, look where we had trouble all day on Thursday. The daily 9 moving average. Okay. Rejections. We pushed over on a smaller time frame, but ultimately, again, I'm on the 30-minute chart. All pushes over that failed. We had one 30-minute close over end of the day Thursday, and then ultimately big sell down to end the day. So any holds of 515, we can look for the daily 9, which is around 517, that big 518. Anything over that, and I really think we have a strong bullish trend day on the market. I don't think the buyers or sellers, are going to step in and try and get it back under 518. If we break that, we're just probably going to push the rest of the day. I don't know how high, but we clear that big level, that 518. That's the level, the upper range level to watch early tomorrow. Any sells under 515, and we're going to start to fill this gap here. So this gap is from this candle down to here. This is the gap. So again, not mega bearish, like weeks on, weeks out, month after month, just on the day. We sell through this support. I just play the chart. I'm a day trader. We're day traders, most of us just play the chart. So a sell under 515, any break of that and retest, I think it's very, very good entry for puts. For not saying we go all the way down to 508, that'd be a pretty big sell, but anything's possible. We could definitely touch this 511 zone on Qs, and then basically kind of back in this lower range from the week. I know Friday we sold down more, but Wednesday, Thursday, that was kind of that key area of interest on QQQ as well. And so QQQ is just tech heavy. All these names here in the upper left-hand corner. Basically, I just keep like the top 10 names and just kind of follow the market. Any questions on QQQ before we move on to your request? So far, I got 2 requests in. So again, you guys put it in the Zoom chat. Let me know the ticker name, if you're in it or not, and just want to be bullish or bearish on it. But if there's not a lot of requests, I'm going to start going through the watch list here and find some setups for you guys in real time. But Norvin was first. Let me check. Norvin's not in here. Man, Norvin, you gotta be present to win. Fitness, you're up first, brother. Disney, right? All right, let me read this in real time as you wrote it out. That. Cool. I see those requests coming in, guys. We'll do it in order. So fitness says, let's see. Let me go to a larger time frame here. They're on the hourly. All right. Let me zoom out before let me mentally figure out what I like on Disney before I read this. Right. Yeah, that big level. All right. Fitness is saying lower highs form on the hourly, daily RSI back below 70, showing downward momentum. Watching them break below 110. Yep, I can dig that for sure. Mine's kind of like 110.14, but you're a good trader. You got good charts there. Let me go to smaller time frame now. So if you read the Zoom chat, they sent me their trade plan, like he always does. Basically, they're seeing this rejection zone up here, rejection that important 110 level there, and so we got a little bit, move pre-market, at least on spine QQs, we'll see. But any weakness, yeah, I totally dig that for sure. Any sell or rejection of this hourly 20 here, line up with that 110 zone you're watching. Yeah, this can definitely be a weak name in a bullish market for sure. There'll be a little bit of risk if SPY's pushing and wearing puts on this. But again, if the chart shows weakness, I'm not afraid to get in puts, as you've seen in my tab before. Some of the stuff I trade doesn't always follow SPY and QQQ, and that's fine. There can be weak names, absolutely. So a breakdown of 110 key psychological level, hourly 20 May. Let's see, for trim first portion 109.45. Yep, I like that kind of slower zone here. Keep an eye on that 109.75-ish if you don't, man. That's a level that month after month, year after year, it really, that's a big one for me. And you guys know how I chart. I draw thick lines of big areas of interest. It just so it's easier for me on a smaller chart, smaller screen, that is, that I know when a big level is approaching, and I see that big thick line here. Definitely we can, I would say, on a break of 110 and we get a 25-cent move down, that's good for your delta, that's good for your Greeks, that's going to pay you very nice. So if we take a break here on puts, selling down in here, you get a 25-cent move down, that's paying nice. We sell under that and down to your target 109.45, kind of the slow range here on Friday. Definitely. For me, this would kind of be target, probably target 1 here, and then anywhere down here, target 2 and 3 down here for sure. But I like that setup. If we stay bullish tomorrow, we kind of reclaim this level up here. I don't love it. I'm not going to try and short momentum here. I'd more so watch it and then a break under your level to get that entry on puts. We could definitely short a double top try, but if markets are pushing, it's a little more added risk. We reclaim the hourly 20, something to be watching there. So follow up with me this week if you take that trade. Would love to see how that plays out. I might even get a few alerts up here 6. I like trading Disney as well. Something down here for sure. So yeah, hope that helped you for sure. PALTO, or is that Palo Alto? Help me on the ticker name. PALTO. Let me know in the chat. Ralph, I think I'm saying your name correctly. I'm paying attention. I'm drawing a blank. Palo Alto, I think, is what you want, but I can't think what the hell the ticker name is. But let me know in the chat. I'll wait a couple seconds for you. Oh, PANW. Yep. Brain fart. I think I have some charts in this. We've tried this one before. Yep, I like it. Are you in this one or just looking for some perspective? That way I can kind of help you out. If you're already in, I can say, hey, you should be trimming here. If you're looking for perspective, I can kind of say what to look out for, because there's a couple things I see immediately on this chart. Doesn't mean it's good or bad, but so for me, kind of caught in this box here. I'm going to get an ugly drawing for you just to show you, but definitely back in this range box. Yes, we're breaking over here, but anytime we're in it, it just goes back to ranging box, which isn't a bad thing, because if you are able to day trade this and you grab calls down here and you grab puts on a break under here, that's going to pay you day after day, week after week. Obviously, if you break over, don't hold your puts, but immediately that's what I'm seeing right away. You're on a call swing. All right. Where'd you get in on Friday? You can feel free to unmute your mic if you want to talk through it quicker. But let me know what price level you got in at, because definitely I'm seeing a lot here. Again, like I say, don't fight the chart. The chart tells me we got a daily 9 stack, daily 20, and overhead resistance stack. So if you're in, down here somewhere on Friday, like this is going to pay you nice. Absolutely, the chart tells me anywhere up into this 189, you definitely sell some calls. And again, I don't care if you're up 100% or 15%, and 15% is not good enough for you. I'm not just saying you, I'm just saying anybody. Like, you got to trade what the chart tells you. And again, that is a big ass level overhead here, 189. So I would definitely trim. If you're in multiple, what is that white dotted line at 180? 189. The dotted lines are support and resistance, the one that goes straight, and these colored ones are my moving averages on the daily chart. So I'll come back to this chart, I promise, or your trade, but give me 1 second here. So on the daily, if you guys go to Webull or Robinhood or whatever, and you're like, hey, where's the daily 9 moving average? Well, that is up here on the daily chart. The daily 9 moving average is at 190.57 ish. Okay, the daily 9. Again, this is the daily chart, but think or swim is pretty kick-ass. You can put on a multi-time frame moving average. So this is still the daily 9, but it's showing me on an intraday level. So again, going back to that QQQ, it's like, why the hell weren't we breaking out on Thursday? Well, we're just hammering the daily 9 overhead, and sellers kicked in, push up, sellers kicked in, sellers kicked in. So if you guys are in think or swim and you're not doing this already on the chart, you're missing out, because it's kind of a sneaky way to say, hey, we have some overhead levels above and below us, and why is it rejecting or why is it bouncing? Well, it's a daily 9 moving average. And so yeah, let me get back to your chart, but I just don't want to get too sidetracked. But yeah, definitely if you're in 1 or 2 and you got in somewhere nice down here, for me it's a swing trade over a 3-day weekend call to win. I would definitely trim up here, or at the very least. So if we kind of open this candle here and you see pre-market, it's never this smooth that it move up like this. At the bare minimum, my stop would be 188. That's somewhere hopefully in profits for you, unless you entered high a day Thursday. But if you want to hold for more, that's fine. We gap over this pre-market and we hold this level, yeah, hold. But definitely trim here. That definitely says that's a spot to trim. But nice setup on those calls. That I hope that pays well. I hope that holds. I'm going to put an alert up here just to hopefully see you get some profit on this tomorrow, because that's a nice gap up setup for sure. Definitely. Hopefully answers your question. If not, iPhone wants Mara. Let's hit it. iPhone, are you in this, or you just want some perspective? Let me know in the chat. Just a little bit easier as usual. What I see right away on the 4-hour chart here, just to get us a little kind of like where the heck we're at, why we're rejecting, why we're bouncing where we're at. I'll zoom in for you guys in a second. But 4-hour chart here. So basically kind of, sold under this big last support here through April, recovered at the backside of April, back up over big support here, back up into the next resistance. And then what do we have overhead again? Like I say, daily 200 moving average. That's the slow mover, slow creeper pushing in. And day after day last week, again, pushed into it. That's fine if you caught the bounces, but ultimately failed breakout over Thursday, Friday, a little bit of a tough day. I'm not sure Bitcoin as well, weird stuff, but Thursday, Friday, Mara had a little bit of a tough go. But not all hope is lost. Again, selling back into and holding this 1486. So as we zoom in here, my game plan. You're in a call for June 6th. All right. Did you get in on Friday or somewhere back up here and you're kind of sitting on some little bit deep red? Let me know in the chat. But yeah, anything, guys, if you guys like to trade Mara, excuse me. anything off this 1486, a reclaim of that is a very, very good support bounce, very trusted one. And what do we have also stair stepping up this green line? This is our daily 20 moving average. So again, we have a moving average stacked underneath and a support underneath. That's, kind of, two good things stacked right there. That's like a double support. Definitely not a spot right down here. I would not want to be short on puts down here at this whatsoever. Any break under, I know you're not puts, but just hypothetically, any break under here, and again, you could day trade it, but again, just know Friday's low is not that far below, 25 cents down. So I would rather be looking for, hey, we sold through this Friday, we reclaimed it, a lot of buyers kicking in. We sold through after hours, but now we have this pre-market, what will be pre-market buyback over 1486. So any holds of that level and that hourly 20 here when that creeps in, I would definitely be bullish as like a double bottom try on this. Again, would definitely lean bullish on this setup. And then again, where do I sell? How do I sell through this? I would sell if you got anywhere down here, definitely this kind of double top here from Friday. We start pushing up to these levels here. I know there's probably some levels in between here, but basically every 20 cents you can find your targets as you move up. 14 or 15.4, 15.6. Very nice level, but I would definitely, this is a trend reversal alert setup, what I would call for sure, because we're kind of the highs are lower highs, lower lows, and suddenly if it stops here, that's where, if you're bearish, I know you're not, but that's where, put holders, you got to be kind of thinking, okay, buyers are kicking in here. This is a possible trend reversal, trend reversal, couple days here. So a breakout over definitely for some calls for sure. All right. Ish, I think I'm saying your name correctly. Microsoft, let's do it. Let's zoom out just a little bit, see where the heck we're at. Nice push up on earnings. That big 446. I mean, I'm not gonna say stalling out because that's a $15 move, but kind of back testing just a little bit here. So let's see. Yep, that makes sense. Why buyers are just taking a little bit breather. Not saying go short on this. We definitely can, but just want to show you guys bottom right. Kind of this overhead zone here. So I'm on the daily chart now, big time frame perspective. We push up, sellers or buyers are like, you know what, we're good. We rolled this from 420 to 450 to 460, 470. Let's take a breather. Sellers taking the turn back on this red zone here, coming back to November, push up, sellers, excuse me, man, my brain's not working today. Buyers stalling out, sellers kicking in, come back to early January, didn't quite make it there, sell down earnings. Nice earnings reaction last quarter, and a push up, and now a little bit of a stall out again. So see, didn't say what you're in on Microsoft. So Microsoft, it's more for me. I don't love it. Any push and open into here, markets can definitely go, but again, we see kind of failed breakouts, a little bit of dip down, failed breakouts, a little dip down, failed breakout, sell, failed breakout, push, didn't hold, back under. And so basically this red zone here, this is kind of caution zone for me. So if we kind of open here, if you swung calls, that's fine. Anywhere down into here on Friday or even here, that's fine. I'm a seller on calls, meaning I'm securing some profit on this 455, 456, 7 zone. Like, I don't want to start a call position up here. Can it go more? And can I be wrong tomorrow? Absolutely. But when I see even just recently from last week, this upper range cluster here, that's where you guys always have to zoom out before you just dive into a play. Don't just say, oh, Microsoft gapped up, it's going up, SPY's going up, let me just take Microsoft, I guess it'll follow. Everything on this watch list can keep going up, and Microsoft can be hitting this resistance, and Microsoft can have a sideways day or a down day. And you're like, well, why the hell is it not moving with everything else? Well, that's why. Large time frame, you guys always zoom out and say, okay, is this a good spot to take calls here? Probably not. Is this a good spot to trim calls? Absolutely. A break over here, start to be looking at a back test. But again, this upper range here, this pesky range here from just last week. So It's not my favorite bullish setup to start a position up here, but call bounce. I know this is pre-market, but any zone, you get your buybacks here at 450, kind of that sexy round number, 450, 500, 400, definitely a call bounce into there. So I don't really love this zone on Microsoft, but it can definitely pay, or we can definitely, in real time this week, if someone DMs me or tags me, we can definitely take another look at it. I do like that it's reclaiming the daily 9, but just this upper range here, there might be some better setups in the market if you're not already in. So set some alerts, see how it plays out. Again, I could be very wrong on this. It could just rocket through this 457 and not look back this week. That's great. Ride that trend, but just be mindful of where we're at on Microsoft. Hopefully that helps you. iPhone, no opinion on NVIDIA earnings. You're asking one of the most conservative traders in OT about earnings. I don't take earnings plays. If you must take it, write this down, SOXL. It's an ETF of semiconductors. Or you can take AMD, but your cheap lotto is SOXL. So if you're bullish on NVIDIA, I have no skin in the game. I have no sentiment. I'm not good with financials. Ask River, ask Tilio if you can get them in here in OT Discord. But if you want to play NVIDIA earnings or NVIDIA run up, if NVIDIA is going up, SOXL is going to be going up as well. So that is your cheap lotto play. Again, SOXL. Don't be short on this, but or short explain this. I don't have any perspective on it. I don't have any sentiment to give you. I just don't like playing earnings at all because it's a gamble. You get the big gap up, like, well, duh, why didn't I take calls? Or you get chopped sideways. You're like, why did I do that? It's a gamble. I like to trade stuff I have control over. I don't like to wake up to my money being instantly 90% down and not being able to do anything, to stop that bleed until market opens. I hate that feeling. I'd rather trade when the markets are open. So, but yeah, can't really give you much perspective on NVIDIA. So earnings are 28th. So that is Thursday. Yeah, coming up. That should be a market mover for sure. All right, scroll in the chat. Nico, I think I'm saying your name correctly. Walmart. Yeah, I love playing Walmart. So does Fitness. Yeah, Walmart, we got a little bit to look at here. This was that consolidation. I think I played puts on this Wednesday or Thursday last week here. So if we open, damn it, didn't mean to do that, sorry. 30-minute chart here, yeah. So if we open kind of over this red zone here, because we can see how I like to trade, I like to find price movement. Where does price push and then reject? Where does price sell down and then bounce at? So for me, if we bounce over this kind of red zone here, and it looks like we are as of now, I would turn this green just for kind of, psychological how to trade this. I would treat this as like a cluster of support here. For me, any back test, I don't love the setup for calls, but it can definitely pay just because I'm seeing these Thursday sell downs when we get into this 96.7. But again, it just might need some market momentum. So any break over this 96.5, Rico, was Nico, I'm sorry. So any breakout over, I would play bounces into here with caution. But I'm not going to fight it on calls if the markets turn weak or we get a tweet and we sell through that. I'm going to cut my calls because I know we're probably going to sell through here. But any bounces definitely should look for, if you get that nice 20-25 cent move, it's going to pay you very nice on Walmart. So 96.5, if we kind of trickle in here and you get those bounces, definitely ride those for calls. But be mindful, again, look left. These top side wicks here, stuff you got to be watching out for. So for me, if I were in this trade, I'd immediately be going, okay, I got the bounce off 96.5, and immediately I'm kind of looking for the zone here, and boom, you just set an alert and wait for that to trigger up here, hypothetically 96.9. Catching a 20-cent move on Walmart, that's going to pay pretty nice, 15, 20, 25%. What do we have creeping up overhead? Lots of stuff to be worrisome on calls for a day trade overhead. So daily 9 is creeping up overhead. That's this purple line. Recent Red is resistance for me. So a little resistance pocket here as we enter this 97, 97.20 zone. And again, another moving average stacked overhead. So we can definitely day trade this on calls. We got the EMAs reversing. We got the hourly 20 underneath us. Again, if this screen zone holds, if you want to take notes or take a screenshot, 96.3 to 96.5, if that holds, I'm cautiously bullish on this name for a day trade. Don't really like it for swings because of what we have overhead. But we can definitely take some calls on this for sure. Any sells back on that 96.3, I'm going to turn this thing red. And I'm treating this as like overhead supply resistance zone. I'm looking to short this on any move underneath here. So definitely can go both ways. Again, not a horrible setup, just not my favorite again, just because what we have. But again, if we hold that, we can get some call action there. But again, any sells under, I'm looking for this price action from Wednesday and Thursday of last week, just to sell through there, follow through. Norvin, you're back. Oh, you had to go get a beer, huh? I was going to do Reddit, but you bounced out of here. Let me see. You're still in here? All right, brother. Reddit. Let's hit it. I wasn't going to go over it if you're not in here, man, but you're in here. Reddit, let's find out where the heck we're at. Let's go to the daily. I haven't looked at this in a while. Let me get a couple lines for you here. Big gap there. Filled that gap. Oh yeah, it's their IPO, but it's pretty new. So, oops, don't do that. Damn it. Sorry, guys. All right, let's get some levels for you here. Bottom range bounces. Absolutely, those are still paying. Where did we stop out at Friday? Does that make sense? That Friday top, that wick there. Look at that bottom side wick lines up. Look at that candle body right there. Look at that top side wick there. Candle body right there. Yeah, 102.35 for sure. Kind of a middle range. Let me get one more upper range here. So if we get a breakout where I would sell at, all right, let's jump down. Let's hit that 30-minute time frame for you. All right. So again, Norvin, very, very tradable setup. Nice reversal happening right here. So basically sold down in that lower range here, 95.5, basically 95.45. When you see, a sell like this, you're not in puts, and you see a bounce, and you see a bounce, and you see a bounce 3 days in a row, it's time to not, try shorting down here. Like that should say, hello, I should be buying calls because calls paid, didn't quite get there. Big bounce up, massive at the open Friday, calls bounce up. Okay, kind of what I was calling the upper range up here, 105, middle range-ish, not exactly the middle, but 102 is a level to watch for me tomorrow, Norm, if I was in this. So basically, this is pretty cut and dry, easy setup for me. How I trade this is ride the early momentum, which is bullish, this gap up, and hold over a support level here. So any holds over 102.35, that's a back test of what is it a back test of, guys? Look left. It's a back test of Friday's high. Again, previous day, I say this week after week, previous day, high, low, pre-market, high, low. We'll see where pre-market opens. Those are always your form of support and resistance, a support or a form of profit zone for you when you start looking. So if we bounce that, I'm a call buyer for this setup for sure. Where do we sell? We got to look left a little bit more, that is, back to Wednesday. You can catch Wednesday's open zone. So basically 103.5, we blast that. What do? We just move up. We keep looking left more. Again, I don't trade percents. I trade the chart. And so break over that. We're looking to 104. And then Tuesday last week, this basically 104.53 to 105 pocket. You catch a $3 move on this, and I get up to 105 tomorrow, I'm fully out. So we bottom tick calls, you trim, I'm fully out up here. I don't care what the percent is. To me, you catch that move, that is a successful trade. Level to level, as Flip says, like you get the bounce on support, you sell resistance, you get on with your day, you close the charts, you're up very, very nice. In a rejection of this level, markets look weak. Absolutely all short a double top Friday high on puts. I'll get some 102 puts on Reddit for sure for a sell down into at least this zone here. Nice setup. Not a bad setup, man. Good request. Shoot, we're caught up. 20 minutes left. Hit me with those requests, you guys. Let me check big tech. Actually, you know what? Let me check some smaller poor guys. See where we're at. See where we're trickling in at. Give me 1 second. We'll find some setups. We'll like that for sure. Move this down. Short that for sure. BAC. If they fail that breakdown of 43.52 tomorrow, that's just how my mind works, you guys. I don't try and overanalyze stuff. I go the 30-minute, 1 hour, whatever it is. I look on the large time frame. I say, hey, we push up the 43.52, reject it. I expect to see that price action. We push up, reject. I expect to see that price action. Tomorrow pre-market, if we fail this red zone here, like the markets are pushing and XLF and banks are weak, short that under 43.52. Absolutely. That was a quick and easy one. I'm actually put a break over. Get bullish, stay bullish, don't short that. But we sell through that, yeah. I'll get puts on that for sure. Let me check a couple more here. I see a request orange. I'm gonna scan a couple charts. That'll actually save me a little bit of work tomorrow. But if you guys got more requests, you guys, yeah, put them in the chat for sure. Otherwise, if you guys are getting sleepy, we can end this early. I'm in no hurry, but Delta Airlines, same thing. Delta Airlines, let's move this down here. Yeah, if that's a failed breakout. Any break over, I'll get long. 48.73, that's my level, kind of 49-ish zone. Get long over that, but any breakouts or failed breakouts over that as well. I'm on Delta Airlines, DAL. We can see just last week's price action alone how it struggled so much at that 48.73 zone. Definitely a tricky spot to watch. Disney went over that one. DraftKings, yep. Definitely need alerts on that. Big reclaim of that 35.42 zone here. I'll check X for you. Is that still in a buyout? I mean, I can give you some chart perspective. I think it's US Steel, but if they're like waiting on a buyout, it's just not the best name to trade. But I'll definitely look at it for you. Just give me 1 second here. Lift, same thing, man. Look at this red zone here. It's pushing in. But again, I'm not just saying short this. Let's just look at the overall market. You know, if market's any hint of weakness, names like that. Yeah, let me get the X for you real quick. Let me check that chart. I used to day trade this and flip shares in this damn thing so much. Yeah, I got some news Friday. Just not my favorite thing to do, but like I said, I can definitely, if it's pushed up here on a daily level, I can definitely give you some perspective. But it had to have got something. Yeah, I just don't like that. Triangle break news and jumped. Yeah, let me check the weekly. Where are we at here? It's been a while. It's all-time highs, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, don't be rude. I just can't really get perspective. Let me go back to daily and just if there's any retracement on this, not this high, yes, last week, but back into this zone here, back in this 48, it's definitely tradable. Like just purely from a chart perspective, you know, we both mentioned that it had some news, but just makes it really tough to give you a chart, especially when something gaps up. I just not what I love, but I'm not gonna be able to give you much on this. I'm sorry, but any back tests of this late March into April zone, we can see kind of how it respected that even last Friday before the news popped off with it. It's just, again, it's just a tough thing to do. I think I can't remember the buyout news. It's just been so old that we've been kind of watching this one for a while, but they must have gotten some news. But I'll set some alerts, and if it comes back down this level, man, we can definitely take a look at it again. But all-time highs on news, there's not really anything for me on this. I'm just a breakout and a back test trader. So any back test of the level, yeah, we can hit this for sure because we have some moving averages stacked underneath for sure. Yeah, let me check a couple more charts for you guys. I like a few, but yeah, if it's we don't have a bunch of requests, you guys. If it's boring, you guys can dip out for sure. But I'll stick around for 15 more minutes and do all the charts you guys want for sure. PLTR, I know you guys love to hit this one. Big one here. If we, yeah, 30-minute chart here, PLTR. If we break and hold this 125.6 tomorrow, this is if markets want to go, this is a really good setup. Again, kind of an upper range here. It can go both ways, but for me, if markets are bullish and we break in a resistance level, it's best to look for calls. But this is a big one to watch here. So we see this, 125.59. I scroll left, we can see we break over, that buying just kick in. We get under, that selling pressure just kicks in. Anytime we break, anytime we break under that level, I mean, this was I think we got news here, or it was possibly a bond auction that sold us, but any sell under that, we see that sell pressure kick in. Smaller pours is a little bit expensive for you guys, but a break and hold of kind of this, I want to say 126, but it's tricky here because we see this rejection here. But you can still get some nice profit here if you catch this move here on calls anywhere on here or here. You catch a 60-cent to a $1 move, looking to sell up to this last week's high. That's going to pay very, very nice. Any sell under here, this is like a super, super easy short on puts. So a break under, so let's just say, SPY's breaking a key level, QQs are breaking down a key level here. Any sell, a breakdown and retest. So a retest of that level, you get your puts all day long because your risk is very, very small. And this is a very, very good setup. Riskier for calls, but if we want to break out, the market wants to go, and we break that daily 9. I'm not afraid to get calls on that name, but this is a super easy short play as well for puts. Fitness, Pep, yeah, let's thoughts on grabbing Pepsi shares, looking at the fundamentals. Yeah. Clear this. Yeah, definitely take a look at it. From a company perspective, what would be ticker? PepsiCo? Yeah, Pep. That's what it is. Yep, Norman, I see requests. Give me one sec. This is, I think this would fall into, the Cokes, the KOs, the Walmarts, the safe stocks. So if tech starts getting hit, this might be a safe space name. It probably, ooh, what do we got here? Man, this is getting its butt whooped. Let me, man, nobody wants Pepsi? Damn, let me get some lines here for you. I mean, I feel like this would be a safe name in the long-term port. Very bottom range, kind of mid-range here. Let's how far we gotta zoom back. Where are we selling into? Look at that. That's the beauty of charting, guys. Mark some levels here, zoom out. How far back we going? Sorry if this makes you dizzy. Going back to, shoot, this is COVID lows, man. Yeah, I'm a buyer. I'm a nibble. I would nibble here on some shares for sure. This is not COVID lows, excuse me. This COVID zone here, this big range. Yeah, I would expect fitness that. I mean, I'd have to read the financials on why they're just getting their butt whooped. The last 5 years. I mean, just a slow. Not out. Let me back up. The last, since July of last year, kind of just a slow trickle down, well below the 200. But again, I would start expecting to see some accumulation here. I don't know how liquid this is for. Man, I lost my train of thought. My brain is not working today. I don't know how good the options are in this name for some August, September swings. But if you're a swing trader and you just want to play strictly a chart, we got earnings out of the way. This is probably dividends coming up next month. But again, I would expect to see some consolidation at the very minimum down here. I'm not a fortune teller, but I would think some, sellers had their fun, 160s, 150s, 140s. We're coming down this big support here. I would think selling pressure is really going to start dying off, and we're going to see at bare minimum consolidation, or we start seeing some bounces here. Yeah, that 120, basically 128 flat. Anytime it hits that, I would definitely be a call buyer for sure. And some shares. I mean, some shares on this little zone is not going to pay you much here. I'm not that smart. Let's see what percent. It's not going to do much for you. 3% really. But to build on a share position down here and to flip them, up to this 140 here, that's 12 to 15% share flip on something that you don't want to hold for 20 years, just maybe a couple months. Like I'll take that share flip all day long. And actually, I need to read into it why they're kind of getting their butt whooped, like I said, but I'm gonna get an alert down here for sure, because this is, as long as options are liquid, got liquidity, that's a dip buy all day long to day trade that. Like you catch that buy down here on some like some 128 calls, that's gonna pay you very, very nice. Interesting. But from a chart perspective, fitness, grab scaling down here if you want a dollar cost average, buy your dips. I'm not gonna say it's no man's land in here for day trade options, but again, like we always say, daily 9 overhead, daily 20, and that 131 8 overhead. So any pushes up here, you grab your day trades. Definitely start trimming up here for sure. Or if you're not in shares yet and we just rocket through this, just wait for a break and hold at this level here, because if you start your share position here, let's just say 132, what did I say? Sell down into here. What's your loss when you sell through on shares? You're risking 4% on shares. That's nothing. That is no stress on a share hold. Like I'll sit through 4% red all day long. I'm not worried about that. Not worried about it at all. Yeah, we got to read into this why it's getting butt whooped. Norvin, let's can I remember the name, but you gave me the ticker, so let's do it. That crowd wave things. CRWV. I always get the next step. CRWV. Core wave. It's been hot. This is tradable, man. This is tradable. A couple of days ago, I'd tell you, no, let's wait. But me, back tested some levels, man. It's found its pocket here. It's found its pocket from last week. So any holds of, let's see, lower extreme, I'd say 101.27. That's kind of quick charting. Kind of this mid-range here, we see these bounces here. So when you see on Thursday, just people in general that are watching this, that when you see a bounce like this Thursday, you're like, oh, why is that a bounce there? Where you look left and say that was the top side wick. So big rejection here. What do we know? Resistance flips support. So resistance bought over it is now support. We sell down. What do? We bounce super hard there. So if you're taking puts at the open and you're not selling here, look at this price action here. That's not good trading. Okay. Big bounce there. No surprise here. Friday, a little bit of upper range consolidation. So game plan is easy for me coming into this tomorrow. Any holds of that 103.50 with caution. Buy your calls there with caution. Any sell through there, this is kind of no man's land, this little $2 range in here. A sell under 101.27, get your puts, because selling pressure is going to kick in. But if we hold this level here, for me, unless you're shorting up here, maybe up here at this 108. No reason just to get into puts just because a person thinks it's going up too much. I would rather ride the MAs, ride the hourly 20, buy the dips if 108 holds, and sell into here, sell for profit up into here. But we catch this move down into here, there's no way I'm holding my calls without trimming in this 114 to 116 area for sure. Definitely would not be holding a position there and not trading, that is, or not selling it. What else? What do we got here? Just checking ish. Yeah, insiders, I mean, it's not something I'd be fearful of. I mean, let's look at PLTR again. We need to know, why they sold. We need to know their share, if we're able to find out their share, their average cost. Because, I mean, okay, yeah, it's an insider, they sold, but if they're in down here, man, at $40, $50, you know, let's just say $80, this $82 range. So let's just say, hey, they sold down on this tariff news and this insider bought. I don't know if they have to hold their shares. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. So they bought here. They bought at 80. They're selling at 125. You know, they're selling for 60% profit. I would look at that, go, hey, someone bought the dip and they're selling at the top here, this double top zone, and they're securing 60% profit. That wouldn't worry me at all if an insider sold. But if they sold out huge on a big position and multiple board members are selling out, and then lo and behold, like, you know, 10 14 days later we see some bad news, like a government contract falls through, yeah, that could be some insider selling. Possibly you could get suspicious. But if someone were to buy the dip here, you, me, or even just an insider or board member, you know, they bought down here, and like literally they're securing at, you know, upper range double top zone. We see a push up, retracement, you know, failed breakout, push up, you know, breakout held for multiple days. Now we're retracing again, and they want to secure some profit up here. There, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but we would just have to know, you know, the position size, how much they sold. You know, if they sold 1,000 shares or even 10,000, that's nothing. But if they're selling millions and millions of shares and several board members are, you know, that could be a red flag. We'd have to look into it. I'm not sure. I don't play this one a whole lot, but again, to me, the chart says they sold a little bit last week. That's just a nice double top action. You know, like I said, maybe they sold 50% profit. I would be too. I mean, if I'm a day trader or flipping shares and I get 50%, hell, 20%, I'm trimming for sure. So we just have to read into it. Ask some people in the chat, some staff members, if you really want to look into it, we can figure it out. Victor, NVIDIA earnings, no perspective. Again, play SOXL. If you're in here, don't play NVIDIA, because if you can't afford the move and you're just buying a contract because it's cheap, then you're doing it wrong. You're just throwing away money. Play AMD because it'll move with it. Or again, SOXL. It's trading at 18 bucks, 17 bucks. Contracts are pretty cheap, pretty cheap. CEO sold 50 million. Interesting. On PLTR. Interesting. Well, that's a lot. We'll have to figure out why. That's a lot. Interesting. 50 million. We'd have to see. I don't know if when they sell, if it says their dollar cost average. That'd be interesting to watch. But again, we don't know, man. If they bought here at 118, they sold at 50 at 123. That could be some red flags. But again, if they caught this big ass run up, you know, the last 6, 8, 10 months, let them sell. Let them make some money. You know, we're on it to make money. Interesting. All right, guys, recap. We're getting to the end of the class. If you guys got to dip out, that's great. I appreciate at least 12 or 15 of you sticking by. But let's go over SPY and QQQ again. Let's go over QQQ. I don't know why that's there. Sometimes I do things late at night, early in the morning, and I don't make notes. But I don't know. Something's going to happen on the 20th. All right, let's zoom in. Appreciate your fitness. Thanks, Norman. Yep, appreciate you guys. If you guys dip out, that's fine. Quick recap. 30-minute chart. As I said, anything holding 515, you guys, on QQQ. Get back to my drawings here. I'm a dip buyer if this holds. Yes, there's a gap below, but if the market stays bullish and they want to push 515, 516 up to this Friday cluster here, up to the daily 9 for sure. So again, don't buy here on 0 DTs and say, okay, I'm looking for 518, I'm looking for 522. That's not how you trade 0 DTs. This is just charting perspective, assuming tomorrow is Tuesday, you buy like a Thursday, Friday contract. These are some larger levels of interest I'm eyeing, but most of you guys trade, you know, stuff that expires the same day. You guys need to go down the 5-minute chart and look left. Why is that doing that? And look left on a 5-minute intraday time frame and find some targets intraday zoomed in. So again, don't buy here at 515. You say, okay, I'm going to sell my first one at 518. That's not how you do it. So again, any holds of that level, I'm staying bullish on the day despite that massive gap. But if we trade sideways, Apple's, NVIDIA, Microsoft, you know, Tesla start looking weak, if we sell through, I'm actually going to get an alert set here. Any sell through of this 515, and I will short this for sure for a possible, partial gap fill. I'm not saying we're going to come down here to 508. That would take probably, some market data, some tweets by Trump or whatever, to get a full retracement back. I don't think we would just gap fill. I don't think we'd see a bunch of weakness just for no reason after some good tariff news. But we can definitely retrace a little bit of this gap for sure into this 514, kind of this bounce zone from Thursday. That could be a good bounce zone try for sure. So we can short this, but just be mindful of just recent price action in there. SPY, a little more cut and dry for me. It's this pocket of interest I've had for a while. I don't delete this zone on my chart because sometimes zones just work time after time. So if we open anywhere between here, this is just a scalper's market, meaning you're not looking for much. You're buying some dips on some key levels here, and you're shorting the rips. But any break over 586, I'm not mega bullish on the day just because of Friday's price action. Literally because of, Thursday's price action. I'm bullish on a hold of 586, but again, I'm not saying let's go to here. I'm saying let's go to Thursday's high. We break that, then it's on. Then it's a bullish trend day for me, hypothetically, in any hold of that level. A sell through that, I am bearish, but not mega bearish because bounces in here. We look at this price action, a little bit ugly Wednesday and Thursday as buyers and sellers battle it out. For me, for puts, I really just want to see, 584.45 can work because we can see we sell that. What does it trigger? It triggers that nice candle down there. But what do? They're buying it up all the way into 583. So take your puts into here, but just don't leave the chart. Don't go get coffee or take a 15-minute bathroom break and get a big bounce, and your puts are deep red now. So they could very well bounce into here in this zone here. But let's see what we get tomorrow. I hope I don't want us to really open in here. It makes it a little bit tricky for an early morning trade. You can see my alerts. I prefer a break over 586. Gap and go, as I say. So I gap up and go a trend day. That's fine. We'll find our bullish setups. But if we open or chop into here, I'm not going to like that for some setups. But hopefully that helps you guys. It is 6 o'clock West Coast time. It's been 1 hour. I appreciate you guys, especially on a holiday weekend, putting in the time to learn. Some really good requests, you guys. Appreciate your time, you guys. Have a safe rest of your night, a good night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.